Alrighty, everyone. Namaste. I'm going to be sharing with you all 2 tips that helped me get into handstand. I have my little headphone in, so I hope the audio works well. But I'm going to share with you 2 tips to work towards your handstand. These are things that anyone can do, and they're really good at helping you gain the shoulder strength, the arm strength, and the opening within your back for you to be able to eventually hold handstand. So these are things that you can work your way up to. I'm simply going to share things that I have seen, that work and are effective. So you're not going to really need anything. I have my yoga mat here, so if you have yours, you can have it. But what we are going to need more than anything is a wall. So we're going to be using the wall as our primary surface for this. So we're going to be going over 2 main shapes. Now, one of the things that I see most commonly used when yoga instructors are teaching students how to get into handstand is having the students face the wall and kick up into a handstand. But one of the things that isn't really too effective with that is that it leads to a banana back. So I'm going to show you guys here, you're about a foot or so away from the wall, and you have your hands shoulders width apart. You're spreading your fingers nice and wide, and then you kick up into your handstand. Now, this can be effective if you have your knees bent, but if you're being shown to have your legs straight, then this isn't too good of an imprint for the shape because you're rounding through your back, so you're gaining the muscle memory that isn't really too effective. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to do L shape, and we're going to do nose and toes up against the wall. So we'll go through L shape first. Stand for L shape. We're going to make sure that we are a leg's distance away from the wall. And once you're a leg's distance away from the wall, you want to make sure that you place your hands where your feet are. So once you place your hands where your feet are, just make sure that your hands are shoulder width apart. You're spreading your fingers nice and wide. And then you're going to start walking your feet up against the wall. I recommend that you watch me this first time, and then the second time you can go ahead and do it along with me. So once you're here, you're going to start walking your feet down, so you start creating a 90-degree angle. Now this is going to be really intense. Maybe at first you don't get that 90-degree angle, and maybe this is where you are, and this is really, really good because you will feel your shoulders immediately start to fire here. So this is good, and you can hold this for anywhere from at minimum 10 breaths, and then work your way up for anywhere as long as a minute or whatever suits you, but minimum 10 breaths. So that is your L shape, and then I'll just show you guys eventually, you walk your feet down, and you're creating this beautiful 90-degree angle, L shape up against the wall, and it's really intense. My whole body is shaking here. It's really energizing. You get a lot of fresh oxygen up into your brain. But let's go ahead and work through the L shape. Again, this is a video, so you can go back and watch this as many times as you need. And once you feel comfortable enough, then you can get into the pose. But for the sake of this practice, we'll go ahead and get into our L shape. So again, making sure that you are 1 leg's distance away from your wall, and then place your hands where your feet are. Hands are shoulder width apart, spreading your fingers nice and wide. I didn't really do this at the beginning, but warming up the wrists is always a good idea here. So then from where your hands are planted and your fingers are spread nice and wide, start walking your feet up against the wall. And again, you can hold here. You can have your Jalandhara Bandha. You can have yourself gazing at the wall. And maybe this is where you're at, and you hold this for 10 breaths. And even here, you're building shoulder strength. And you're getting the benefits of the inversion. But if you want to start working into your L shape, you slowly start tiptoeing your feet down, creating this L shape, pressing your feet up against the wall, strong through the arms, strong through the shoulders. If you're shaking, that's okay. And again, holding it for a minimum of 10 breaths. And then eventually, you really get that 90-degree angle. And you're holding, shaking for 10 breaths. And then once you're ready, you come out. It's really effective, really energizing. And again, practice this as many times as you can, as many times as you want, to really build that shoulder strength, to build the opening in the back of the shoulders and in the upper back. Really making sure that once you get into your inversion, into your handstand, you have the full range of motion. Sometimes, we're here, or we're here, and we want to make sure that we can open up all the way. Now, the second drill that we're going to do is toes to nose, or toes and nose up against the wall. Again, this one's really going to be good at building that shoulder strength. So for this, all we're going to need is our wall. We want to make sure that we have our hands anywhere, it could be a leg's distance, just for the sake of continuity. It can be a leg's distance away from the wall. And then planting your hands once your leg's distance away from the wall. And again, just like we did in the first exercise, you can go ahead and watch me the first time. So from here, you're going to make sure your hands are shoulder width apart, spreading the fingers nice and wide. Slowly start walking your feet up against the wall. And then once you're here, start walking your hands in towards the wall, keeping them shoulders distance apart. Your hands don't have to come all the way up against the wall. They're pretty darn close. And then once you're here, what we're going for is making sure that our nose and our toes touch against the wall and nothing else. Now here, if you remember what I said about how most teachers do the banana back version of handstand, we want to make sure that we tuck our tailbone under. So tucking your tailbone under, nose and toes up against the wall, pressing your hands firmly into the earth. The more you press down into the earth, the more that you push up towards the ceiling with the toes. So you're holding this, again, anywhere from 10 breaths up to like a minute, or even longer if you're really feeling it. And then once you come out, I'll show you 2 ways to come out. Way number 1, you walk yourself out in the same way that you came into this. Way number 2 is you cartwheel your way out. Both are effective. Do whatever feels best to you. I was shown how to cartwheel out, so if just crawling your way out works best, then go ahead and do that. But I'll go ahead and I'll show the cartwheeling out real quick. So for cartwheeling out, you're here, and then you just kind of cartwheel your way out. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll do this one together as well. So once you're ready, let's go ahead and find our way legs distance away from the wall, planting our hands where our feet are, hands or shoulders width apart, just spreading the fingers nice and wide, walking the feet, pressing your hands down to the earth, walking your feet up against the wall, and you start walking your hands back, all the way until your hands are, again, maybe like 6 or 8 inches away from the wall, but just making sure that your hands are close to the wall, spreading the fingers nice and wide, pressing the hands firmly down into the earth. Tuck your chin so that your nose and your toes are touching against the wall. And then tuck your tailbone under and hold here for 10 breaths at least. And maybe, you're holding for less than 10 breaths, and that's okay. You know, we want to meet ourselves where we're at. So then once you're ready, 10 breaths or less than 10 breaths or 100 breaths, you can start walking your hands out, or you can cartwheel your way out. So yeah, it's pretty intense at first, but just like anything else, you know, with practice, the more you do it, the easier that it gets. So again, those are the two drills: L shape up against the wall, and your nose and toes up against the wall. Really, really good at building shoulder strength. You get the benefits of the inversion, and you're getting that shoulder mobility and the opening in your upper back, which are all preparatory. They're good in and of themselves, but they're especially good for your handstand. Just make sure once you're done with your training with these, that you shake out your wrists. Always before and after, shake out your wrist, do some wrist stretches, get into the shoulders, do some shoulder stretches, like taking some circles with the wrists, just making sure that you're getting both directions of the wrists, and getting circles, flexing, extending, and then just one last one for your wrist. You can bring your palms facing up, get your fingers facing towards the middle. You can curl your hands into a fist, and then you can just take some movements. I usually do these on my knees, but you just take some movements, moving in a circular fashion, just really sending some breath, sending some awareness into those wrists, and just make sure that you get both directions in those wrists. And then from there, you can just interlace the fingers. Or actually, you know, this one's really good. You take your hands out in front, palms facing outwards, bring one hand over the other, interlace the fingers, bring the hands in and out, and then just kind of take some, this is kind of weird, but you just take some movements from side to side, just loosening out the wrists. Really intense, but really good, really effective. And then bring them back in and out, and then just make sure you do the other side always, interlacing the fingers, bring the hands in and out, and then just moving laterally from side to side, finding whatever movement really works for you and for your practice, and then just releasing that, and then just giving the hands a good shake. And yeah, that should be it. And the shoulders should be feeling it a little bit. You don't really have to stretch them, but a good little shoulder stretch never hurts. So really simple, but really good, you know? You're building your strength and your mobility here. So yeah, feel free to always make sure we do both sides. So bring the other arm across, stretching through the shoulders. Get a good, nice little stretch into your arms. And yeah, your arms a little shake. And thank you for joining me. Feel free to come back to this as reference and incorporate this into your practice as much as you'd like. If there's anything you'd like to share with me, always feel free to drop a message down below. Share this with anyone who's interested in building their handstand or their handstand practice. And yeah, here to share what I know. So thank you for joining me, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be uploaded into like the YouTuber place. So just give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and yeah, see y'all next time. Peace.